Joshua. Chapter 12. These are the kings that the Israelites defeated when they took possession of their land east of the Jordan, from the Arnon Valley in the south to Mount Hermon in the north, including all the land on the east side of the Jordan. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon, ruled from Aroer on the edge of the Arnon Valley, all the way from the middle of the valley to the Jabbok River, the boundary with the Ammonites, and included half of Gilead. His territory also included the Jordan Valley up to the Sea of Kinnereth and land to the east, and all the way down to the Salt Sea, east towards Beth-Jeshimoth and south to the slopes of Pisgah. King Og of Bashan, one of the last of the Rephates, who lived in Ashtaroth and Edrei, ruled in the north from Mount Hermon to Sakala, and all of Bashan to the east, and west to the borders of the Jeshurites and Maccathites, together with half of Gilead up to the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the Israelites had defeated them, and Moses had allotted the land to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. These are the kings of the land that Joshua and the Israelites defeated to the west of the Jordan, from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon to Mount Halak leading to Seir. Joshua gave it to the tribes of Israel to own as it was allotted to them. The land included the hill country, the foothills, the Jordan Valley, the slopes, and the Negev Desert, the land of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. The king of Jericho. The king of Ai, near Bethel. The king of Jerusalem. The king of Hebron. The king of Jarmuth. The king of Lachish. The king of Eglon. The king of Gezer. The king of Debir. The king of Gedor. The king of Hormah. The king of Arad. The king of Libnah. The king of Adullam. The king of Makkedah. The king of Bethel. The king of Tappuah. The king of Hepher. The king of Aphek. The king of Lasharon. The king of Madden. The king of Hazor. The king of Shimron Meron. The king of Akshaph. The king of Tanakh. The king of Megiddo. The king of Kadesh. The king of Jokneam in Carmel. The king of Dor in Naphath Dor. The king of Goyim in Gilgal. The king of Tirzah. The total of all the kings is 31. Joshua. Chapter 13. Many years had passed by, and Joshua had grown old. The Lord spoke to him, saying, "You are now an old man, but there's still a great deal of land still to be taken. This is the remaining land, the territory of all the Philistines and all the Jeshurites. From the Shihor River on the border with Egypt north to the border of Ekron, all of which is counted as Canaanite, but comes under the 5 Philistine lords of Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. In addition, there's the land of the Avites. In the south, all the land of the Canaanites, and Mirah that belongs to the Sidonians, all the way to Aphek on the border with the Amorites, as well as the land of the Jebusites and the Lebanon area from the town of Baal-Gad to the slopes of Mount Hermon to Lebo-Hamath, and to those who live in the hill country from Lebanon to Misrephoth-Maim, including all the land of the Sidonians. I myself will drive them out ahead of the Israelites. Just allocate the land to Israel for them to own, as I have commanded you. So divide this land among the 9 tribes and the half-tribe of Manasseh for them to own." The other half of the tribe of Manasseh, and the tribes of Reuben and Gad, had already received their land grant on the east side of the Jordan, as allotted to them by Moses, the servant of the Lord. It stretched from Aroer on the edge of the Arnon Valley, from the town in the middle of the valley, and all the plateau of Medeba, up to Dibon, and all the towns that belonged to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, up to the border with the Ammonites. In addition, it included Gilead, the land of the Jeshurites and Maccathites, all of Mount Hermon, and all of Bashan as far as Salekah, as well as all the land of the kingdom of Og of Bashan, who had ruled in Ashtaroth and Edrei. He was one of the last of the Rephates. Moses had defeated them and driven them out. But the Israelites had not driven out the Jeshurites or the Maccathites, who still live among them to this very day. Moses did not allocate any land for the Levites to own. Instead, they were allotted the offerings made by fire to the Lord, the God of Israel, as the Lord had promised them. This was the land that Moses allotted to the tribe of Reuben, by families. Their territory stretched from Aroer on the edge of the Arnon Valley, from the town in the middle of the valley, and all the plateau of Medeba. Heshbon and all associated towns on the plateau, Dibon, Bamoth Baal, Beth Baal Meon, Jahaz, Kedemoth, Mephith, Kiriathaim, Sibmah, Zereth Shahar, on a hill in the valley, Beth Peor, the slopes of Pisgah, Beth Jeshimoth, all the towns of the plateau, and all the kingdom of Sihon, the Amorite king, who ruled in Heshbon. He was defeated by Moses, as well as the Midianite leaders Evi, Rekam, Zur, Hur, and Reba, princes who lived in the kingdom and who were allied to Sihon. At the same time, the Israelites killed Balaam, son of Beer, the fortune-teller, along with the others who were slaughtered. The Jordan was the boundary for the tribe of Reuben. This was the land, the towns, and the villages allotted to the tribe of Reuben, by families. This was the land that Moses allotted to the tribe of Gad, by families. Their territory was Jazer, all the towns of Gilead, and half of the land of the Ammonites up to Aroer, near Rabbah, stretching from Heshbon to Ramath-Mizpeh and Betnim, and from Mahanaim to the Debir region. In the Jordan Valley lay Beth-Haram, Beth-Nimrah, Sukkos, and Zaphon, the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon. The boundary ran along the Jordan up to the bottom end of the Sea of Kinnereth and then ran east. This was the land, the towns, and the villages allotted to the tribe of Gad, by families. This was the land that Moses allotted to the half-tribe of Manasseh, that is half of the tribe of the descendants of Manasseh, by families. Their territory stretched from Manahaim through the whole of Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, and all the towns of Jair in Bashan, 60 in all. Also included was Gilead, and Ashtaroth and Edrei, the towns of King Og in Bashan. This was the land allotted to the descendants of Machir, son of Manasseh, for half of them, by families. These were the allocations that Moses made when he was in the plains of Moab, on the other side of the Jordan, east of Jericho. However, Moses did not allot any land to the Levites, for the Lord, the God of Israel, had promised them that he would be their allocation. Joshua. Chapter 14. This was the land that was allotted to the Israelites to own in the land of Canaan by Eleazar the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the leaders of the tribes. The decision regarding the land division among the 9.5 tribes was made by casting lots, as the Lord had instructed Moses. Moses had allotted land to the 2.5 tribes east of the Jordan, but he had made no allocation to the Levites among them. The descendants of Joseph had become 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. The Levites were not given any land, only towns to live in and pasture for their flocks and herds. So the Israelites followed the instructions the Lord had given Moses in allocating the land. Leaders from the tribe of Judah approached Joshua at Gilgal, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, said to him, "You remember what the Lord told Moses, the man of God, at Kadesh Barnea about me and you. I was 40 when Moses, the servant of God, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land. When I returned, I told the truth in my report. But those who went with me made our people afraid. However, I have faithfully followed the Lord my God." At that time Moses made a solemn promise, telling me, "The land where you have walked will belong to you and your children forever, because you faithfully followed the Lord my God. Look, the Lord has kept me alive these past 45 years as he promised, from the time the Lord told Moses this while Israel was wandering in the wilderness. Now I'm 85. But I'm still as strong today as when Moses sent me out. I'm as strong and ready for battle or for whatever may come as I was then. So give me the hill country that the Lord spoke about. You heard at that time about the descendants of Anak who lived there in large, fortified towns. If the Lord is with me, I will drive them out as the Lord promised." So Joshua blessed Caleb and granted him ownership of Hebron. So Hebron belonged to Caleb, son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, from that day to this, because he had faithfully followed the Lord, the God of Israel. Hebron was formerly called Kiriath-Arba, named after a great leader of the descendants of Anak. And the land was at peace.